Hello dear friends, I am Lakshmikant and welcome back to my YouTube channel Let's Learn to Shine. Dear friends, today I am going to talk about the poem Richard Cory, and this poem is composed by Edwin Arlington Robinson. In this poem we are going to understand the character of Richard Cory, who is wealthy, healthy, but in reality he is not happy. Right? As Edwin Arlington Robinson says, he is richer than king. He is like a gentleman. He is like a he is like a gentleman from soul to crown, and his appearance is like a clean, favored, and imperially slim. But still, he is unhappy. He is not satisfied. He is psychologically depressed. It means he is a victim. He is a what you can say a victim of Great Depression that happened in America. Remember the poems of W.B. Yeats? He says, "Things fall apart, but center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosened upon the world." So that mere anarchy or things fall apart, that reality we can find in the life of Richard Cory. दोस्तों, इस पोएम में हम रिचर्ड कोरी नाम के एक कैरेक्टर को जानेंगे जो एक एरिस्टोक्रेटिक क्लास से बिलोंग करता है, और वो हमको उसकी जीवन की कहानी बताता है कि जो लोगों को जो दिखता है वो है नहीं, और जो वो फील करता है वो लोगों को दिखता नहीं. इसीलिए इस पोएम के अंत में हम जानेंगे कि वो अपने साथ में क्या करता है और लोगों को क्या शॉक देता है. इस पोएम को पढ़ने के बाद में हमको पता चलेगा. इस पोएम में बहुत सारे symbolism or symbols or other words are used by the poet, and these poems, or you can say these words, are very much capable to express the grief that Richard Cory is going to feel, or that he is going to enjoy. Okay, so let us see and enjoy the poem. जैसे कि मैंने आपको बोला था दोस्तों कि इस पोएम में रिचर्ड कोरी नाम के कैरेक्टर का सहारा लेके एडविन आर्लिंगटन रॉबिन्सन एक मैसेज कन्वे करता है, ऑल दैट ग्लिटर्स इज नॉट अ गोल्ड. और ये मैसेज हमको मिलता है विलियम शेक्सपियर के मर्चेंट ऑफ वेनिस में, जो कि एक एक्ट सेकेंड सीन 7 में आता है. मैं आपको रिमाइंड करने के लिए बस दोस्तों ये स्लाइड को यहाँ पे लाया हूँ, जो बताती है कि ऑल दैट ग्लिटर्स इज नॉट अ गोल्ड, ऑफन हैव यू हर्ड दैट टोल्ड, मेनी अ मैन ऑफ हिज लाइफ हैथ सोल्ड, बट माई आउटसाइड टू behold. Glided toms to want enfold, have you been as wise as bold, young in limbs and in judgment old, your answer had not been inscrolled. Fare you well, your suit is cold. So this is the para, these are the lines taken from the William Shakespeare's, and these lines exactly suits to the poem of Robinson, and this is another important message to the audience, to the listener of this poem. Dear friends, before going into the details of the poem, let us try to understand about the composer, about the poet. Edwin Arlington Robinson, who was born on 22nd December 1869 and he died on 6 April 1935. As I have already told you, he was an American poet and he won Pulitzer Prize for poetry ever awarded to poetry. And he was recommended, he was nominated for Nobel Prize in Literature for 4 times, but unfortunately he didn't receive that honor. Actually, he is very famous for his collected poems, or his anthology of poems that were published under the title Collected Poems in 1921. Okay, actually this poet Robinson established himself as a poet deeply rooted in tradition, exploring theme related to artistic pursuit and certainly of change. He always talk about the failure of the American society. He always discuss the failure or the negative side of the American society that they have enjoyed, they have experienced during the Great Depression, during the Panic 1863. Let us understand the stanza number 1. This poem has a 4 stanza, and in each stanza there are 4 lines. That is why I told you there are 16 lines in this poem. सो स्टांजा नंबर 1। तो इन दोस्तों पहले स्टांजा में देखते हैं, लेट मी रीड। Whenever Richard Cory went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him. He was a gentleman from soul to crown, clean favored and imperially slim. तो दोस्तों इस कैरेक्टर के बारे में कहते समय आर्लिंगटन लिखते हैं और एडविन रॉबिन्सन लिखते हैं कि व्हेनेवर रिचर्ड कूरी वेंट डाउनटाउन, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा इंटरनल राइम का यूज़ किया है रॉबिन्सन ने, डाउनटाउन आप देख सकते हैं। व्हेनेवर रिचर्ड कूरी वेंट डाउनटाउन, वी पीपल, ये वी पीपल क्या है? वी पीपल रेफर्स टू द कॉमन पीपल और टू द पुअर पीपल, those who lived on the floor, on the ground, on the road, on the footpath, okay, and they are very much surprised to see the look of Richard Cory, his attire, his grace, his mannerism and everything, okay। तो we people on the pavement, pavement का मतलब आपको बता दिया मैंने, on the footpath, looked at him, कि जो वो जब भी निकलता था उसकी तरफ वो देखा करते थे। सो आपको समझ में आ गया होगा कि whenever Richard Cory went downtown, we people on the pavement looked at him, और उसके बारे में ये 2 लाइन में वो बताता है वो कैसा था। He was a gentleman, जो रिचर्ड कोरी था वो एक जेंटलमैन की तरह दिखता था, जो एक बहुत ही रिच था, वेरी हैंडसम था, वेरी जेंटल था, पावरफुल था और विदाउट एनी स्कैंडल था, परफेक्ट था। और आपको बताया गया है कि इस चित्र में आप देख सकते हैं, इन पिक्चर में आप भी देख सकते हैं कि ही इज़ वेल प्रेजेंटेड एंड वेल मैनर्ड आदमी था। तो इसलिए लोग उससे थोड़ा सा इम्प्रेस थे, तो इसलिए वो बोला गया है कि ही वॉज अ जेंटलमैन फ्रॉम सोल टू क्राउन। सोल टू क्राउन का मतलब होता है दोस्तों यहाँ पे फ्रॉम हेड टू टो, मतलब पैर से लेके ऊपर तक वो एक राजा की तरह दिखता था। वो जो क्राउन करके वर्ड है वो एक सिंबल है, सिंबॉलिकली किंगशिप को या राजा को सिंबलाइज करता है और इसलिए वो वर्ड यहाँ पे यूज किया गया है। तो ही सेज कि ही वॉज अ जेंटलमैन फ्रॉम सोल टू क्राउन एंड क्लीन फेवर्ड एंड इम्पेरियली स्लिम। तो देखिए दोस्तों यहाँ पे 2 वर्ड्स है, एक क्राउन and imperially slim. Imperially is an adjective and this adjective is used by the poet to increase the grace of his personality, okay। और आपको समझ में आ गया होगा कि in the first you can say first stanza he is talking about his personality. In this introductory stanza he is talking about his physical appearances, okay, his schedule, his appearances, his clothing, his shoes, caps and all these things, right? His way of speaking with people. So in short he was looking like a prince, he was looking like a gentleman, he was like a royal person, or people used to believe that he belongs to the royal family, who is having or who is following the various manners and common sense, various grace in his personality, in his time, okay। So this is what the first stanza is talking about. Robinson also continues his description about his personality in the second stanza also. Second stanza is like this: and he always quietly arrayed, he was always human when he talked, but still he flattered purses when he said good morning, and he glittered when he walked. Now we can understand the common sense about his personality, or we can a common idea about his personality. He says he was always, you can see this, he was always and he was always, this line is repeated in here. So the first line and the second line is having the same words. So when you find these same words that are highlighted in the red color, that is anaphora, a figure of speech. Now what is meaning by anaphora? Dear student, anaphora gives this poem a sort of repetitive feel. and there is just you can say there is just so much good stuff about Richard Cory, and that the speaker of the poem has to represent it to us in this list by using anaphora. So he was always quietly arrayed. Arrayed का मतलब होता है clothing. Clothing का अर्थ होता है कि बहुत ही अच्छा अटायर उसको दिखता था. Clothing appearance, उसके कपड़े उपड़े थे, बहुत अच्छी तरह से वो पहनता था. So और quietly का मतलब उसको पता था कि लोगों के सामने कैसे जाना, लोगों के सामने कैसे खुद को प्रेजेंट करना. he knew that fact, or he knows the way of speaking with common people, and he never creates or follows any kind of a prejudice in his mind. He is always very kind to other people, those who are not from his community, from his group, from his royal family. So he says he was always quietly arrayed, he was always human. देखो दोस्तों, वो बोलता है रॉबिन्सन कि he was looking like a human being, kind, gentle human being when he talked. जब भी वो लोगों से बात करता था, वो बहुत ही ह्यूमन यानी काइंड, ह्यूमन हार्टेड था. और वो फिर लिखता है कि but still he flattered pulses when he said good morning and he glittered when he talked. कि वो जब भी लोगों से बात करता था, गुड मॉर्निंग कहता था, कि लोग उससे बहुत ही प्रभावित थे. क्यों? क्योंकि वो कभी अपने से नीचे दर्जे के लोगों से के साथ बात नहीं करता था. ऐसी बात वो कभी फॉलो नहीं करता था. मतलब सभी से बात करता था और सभी को सेम रिस्पेक्ट, सेम जेन्युइन फीलिंग के साथ एक जेंटल फील उनको आने देता था. इसलिए सभी लोग उससे बहुत इम्प्रेस थे, बहुत ही सरप्राइज थे. ओके, ये दूसरे स्टांजा में भी यू कैन सी दी सेम डिटेल अबाउट हिज पर्सनैलिटी. ओके, सो लेट अस सी द थर्ड स्टांजा. तीसरे स्टांजा में दोस्तों आप देख सकते हैं यहाँ पे कुछ metaphorical language he has used to describes the beauty of his personality. He writes, Mr. Robinson, the poet, the composer of this poem, write like this, and he was rich. He was rich, yes, richer than a king. Now see, there is a figure of speech he has used, and there are comparison between, you can say, between two objects or two ideas. Robinson says that the Richard Cory was richer than king, and he was, or he glittered when he glittered when he walked. These statements are not literal, but they create an image of nobility and privilege. Okay, so Richard Cory is a representation of wealth, of status and privilege of the society, of his society, you can say. So let us see this third stanza. Yes, he was rich and richer than king, and admirably schooled in every grace. कि उसके मैनरिज्म के स्टाइल को, उसका जो कॉमन सेंस था, उसका जो वे ऑफ स्पीकिंग था, वो इतना पोलाइट था, इतना अच्छा था कि बाकी सभी लोगों को ऐसे लगता था, दे यूज्ड टू बिलीव दैट कि ही इज स्कूल्ड, एडमायरेबली स्कूल्ड इन एवरी ग्रेस, कि वो एक अच्छी ट्रेनिंग प्राप्त करके हुए इस सोसाइटी में आया कि क्या. ओके, तो ये इस लाइन का अर्थ है. In fine, we thought that he was everything. In fine, we thought that he was everything to make us wish that we were in his place. अभी देखिए दोस्तों, there is a difference between, there are two kinds of mentality. One mentality is of Richard Cory, who belongs to the, or who represents the aristocratic society, and the another mentality is of the speaker, because the speaker of the poem is belongs to the common society or the common class or the poor class, and he is always you can say jealous, I would say, or he is always curious to know about their lifestyle, about their way of work, or about their you can say lifestyle, I would say. So in fine, we thought कि कि वो उनके दिमाग में वो हर बार सोचते थे कि ही वॉज एवरीथिंग, मतलब उसके पास पैसा है, धन है, स्टेटस है, प्रिविलेज है, प्रॉपर्टी है, सब कुछ है, तो उसके पास समाधान भी होगा, उसके पास सेटिस्फैक्शन भी होगा। ये भी वो सपोज करते, मतलब वो अज्यूम करते थे। और वो बोलता है कि टू मेक अस विश, जब भी वो उसको देखते थे, दे ऑलवेज विश दैट कि वी विश दैट वी वेर इन हिज प्लेस। उनको उसकी तरह जीने की इच्छा निर्माण होती थी, क्रिएट होती थी। इसलिए यहाँ पे दो तरीके के प्रवाह, दो तरीके की मेंटालिटी यहाँ पे प्रेजेंट की गई है। दोस्तों, इस आयरनिकल स्टेट ऑफ माइंड अपने को ध्यान में आएगा कि इस आयरनिकल सिचुएशन में आप कैसे लोग दूसरे के बारे में सोचते, ये भी आपको ध्यान में आ सकता है। एक्चुअली दिस पोएम वाज पब्लिश इन 1897, ओके, एंड दिस पोएम वाज रिटन जस्ट आफ्टर द डिप्रेशन ऑफ 1893, जब लोगों के पास पैसा नहीं था, खाने के लिए नहीं था, सब लोग अनएम्प्लॉयड थे, सब लोग बहुत ही भूखे से मर रहे थे। तब वो जो रीच लोग थे, जो भी एरिस्टोक्रेटिक लोग थे, उनकी तरफ देखते थे, और इसीलिए वो एक बहुत ही इन्फ्लुएंशियल पोएम लिखता है जिसका टाइटल रिचर्ड कोरी देता है। और वो बोलता है कि देखो, सिर्फ रीच पीपल ही नहीं, यानी मतलब कॉमन पीपल ही नहीं, तो रिच पीपल भी कभी दुखी हो सकते हैं। तो यहाँ पे ऐसा एक मैसेज है। तो दैट इज व्हाई ही सेज, एंड दैट इज व्हाई ही सेज कि रिचर देन, कि उसके पास इतनी प्रॉपर्टी कि ही इज मोस्ट रिचर और रिचेस्ट पर्सन ऑन दैट प्लैनेट, ऑन दैट लैंड, यू कैन से। एंड schooled in every grace, we thought that he was everything, and to make us wish that we were in his place. जब भी उनको देखते थे, उसको लगता था कि शायद मैं रिचर्ड कोरी क्यों नहीं होता। ओके, तो इस तरह से ये अपनी इच्छा प्रकट करता है। Let us see the last stanza. Last stanza is very much, you can say, surprising. You can say you will understand the theme of this poem in this last 4 line. So in this particular poem, Richard Cory is a character that represents the sophisticated class, okay, and the town people even long to be Richard Cory, as conveyed through lines. In the previous line we have seen that we thought that he was everything, to make us wish that we were in his place, right? So there was a wish in their mind. But what happened? Ironically, the poet glorifies, or you can say that increase the greatness of Richard Cory. But what happened? Let's see in this stanza. So on we work and waited for light. Means the poor people, the speaker or his community, they started working and waited for the light. Light means happy days in their life. And went without meat, means without food. They suffered. They suffered from poverty and starvation. They suffered from the bad times in their life, in that great depression, and cursed the bread, कि उनको खाना नहीं मिलता था, इसलिए वो बहुत ही तड़पते थे, लोगों को कर्स देते थे, और उनको क्या बोलते हैं कि लोगों को गालियाँ या खाने को भी वो तरसते थे। एंड रिचर्ड कोरी, नाउ सी द लास्ट 2 lines, line number 15 and 16. So and Richard Cory one calm summer night went home and put a bullet through his head. Is this surprising for you? Is this really astonishing for you, all of you? कि अभी तक तो एक जेंटलमैन के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, और अभी अभी क्या हुआ कि he shot himself by putting bullet in his head, right? So this is what the climax, this is the twist in this story of, or in the life of Richard Cory, कि जो लोग, जो पुअर पीपल, जो कॉमन पीपल, जो स्पीकर, उसके बारे में बहुत अच्छी तरह से सरप्राइजिंग बातें वो लिख रहा था। अचानक एक दिन, वन काम समर नाइट, एक समर नाइट जो निकली थी, उसमें वो घर जाता है और अपनी बंदूक निकालता है और उसकी बुलेट अपने सर में घुस देता है, राइट। इसका मतलब है कि he commits suicide by putting bullet in his head, right? So what is traumatic end of this, you can say surprising end of this poem. So you will understand, my dear friends, कि the poem Richard Cory is a poem that opens with the speaker's intent or the instant separation of Richard Cory from the speaker's community, right? And the Richard Cory only goes downtown as a visitor, that we have seen in the first stanza, but the speaker's community seems to be a part of the downtown landscape. Okay, and in other words, you will understand that they live there and cannot come and go as they please, right? So as we have seen in this poem that there are two kinds of people. Some are very much curious and some are very much rich, or you can say richer than king, but still there are so many problems they face in their life. There are so many psychological imbalance in their life, and because of that they commit suicide, or they committed suicide in their life. And Richard Cory is you can say is a sample, is a representation, is a symbol of that Great Depression happened in 1892. Okay, so this is what happened in this poem. Now let us see about the structure of the poem. Dear friends, the present poem Richard Cory is written in iambic pentameter, where you can find the each line consisting 5 iambs. Iamb means what? 2 syllable, and with the feet or the accent on the second syllable, means the accent, unaccented, accented. That is the combination of 5 feet. Okay, so iambic pentameter is precise and always strict throughout in this poem, and we can also examine by understanding the example of one line that is used by the Robinson or the poet in this poem. You can see whenever Richard Cory went downtown, means the first line, you can see there are 5 pairs or the 5 feet, and there is a combination of unaccented and the accented syllable. Okay, so this is how we can understand the meter too. In this particular poem also, he has followed the particular rhyming scheme throughout the poem, or throughout the 4 quatrains. The first line rhyme with the third, and the second line rhyme with the fourth one, means AB, that is the rhyming scheme is used by the poet in this particular poem. And the poem features minimal internal rhyme. In the very beginning I told you, downtown, pavement, gentleman, right? So these are the internal rhymes he has used to increase the beauty, to as a part of his skill to play with the words. Okay, so this is how we can understand the rhyming scheme of this poem. So I hope, my dear student, you understood the explanation. As we have seen, Richard Cory is a poem, you can say narrative poetry, and sometimes we can find there are situational and dramatic irony is used by the poet. The author, the poet uses situational irony throughout the whole poem, that we have seen in the 4th stanza. And Richard Cory has everything going for him. He is very successful, has a perfect life, he is educated, but the only accomplishment we know of him doing is killing himself, right? So that is the problem happen or going on with Richard Cory. So this is how we can understand the life of Richard Cory. Thank you.